शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
Yeah, fine. So in the last session we discussed how in the Sushupti state everything becomes completely enveloped in pitch darkness. So naisha tamograstam iva aha saprapancham eki bhudam iti uchyate. So the entire Dvaita Prapancha gets completely obscured as aham, aham in daytime is grastam, is enveloped or caught within the cover of naishatama, means the darkness related to night. So that we completed. And then sa iyam avastha aviveka rupatvat prakyanaghanaga iti uchyate. Sa iyam avastha, this particular state. So aviveka here actually means non-comprehension, just as we are not able to comprehend or cognize different objects, nama, rupa, vaividya, that's avivekatva, that is the comment, tiga. I mean, when you look from one bank of the river to the other bank, and when the other bank is completely obscured in pitch darkness, then you won't be able to recognize one object from another object. That particular state is called aviveka rupatva. Means you won't be able to recognize a building from a car or a tree. You can't tell one thing from another. That particular state is called aviveka rupatva. So we completed that. Now next, this is where we begin today. Manasaha vishaya vishayi akara spandana ayasa dukkha abhavat anandamayaha anandaprayaha na ananda eva. So this is an important point in Advaita Vedanta. There is a difference between Anandamaya and Anandarupa and Anandaswarupa. Anandamaya means you have abundance of joy, but you are not completely identified yourself with that joy. I mean blissfulness, the Ananda. Anandaswarupa, that Anandaswarupatva comes only when you attain the Jiva Brahma Aikyam, Aparakshana-bhudi. That's the only state where Ananda Surupatva comes. But when you get an abundance of bliss, inner bliss, that state is called Ananda Mayaha. So Maya Pratyaya is used to imply, to indicate abundance, So Manasaha Vishaya Vishayi Akara Spandana Ayasa Dukkha Abhavat. So when mind is completely devoid of Vishaya Vishayi, Vishaya means object, Vishayi means subject. So we get this ayasa, strain or stress or any kind of extreme feeling of effort. When you feel an effort in anything, you don't have any ananda. You don't enjoy it. You enjoy something only when you experience total effortlessness. So ayasa lalitatva, Bhashya says somewhere else, So when you have total absence of ayasa, strain, and when it becomes natural and effortless and spontaneous, then only you get ananda, bliss. And that comes when there is total absence of jnata, jneyam and jnanam, that is dhyata, dhyeyam and dhyanam, this triputi, this subject, object, and and the connecting link. So knowledge, knower, and non-object. So when this distinction is totally obscured or for some time not felt, then you feel a kind of tadatmyam, and that state alone can create a natural, spontaneous anayasatva, means absence of ayasa. That is, absence of ayasa, absence of dukkha. That's why Vishaya, Vishayi, Akara, Spandana, Ayasa, Dukkha, Abhavat. Abhava means total absence of dukkha or strain or ayasa created by the spandana, the vibration of experiences divided into Vishaya, Vishayi. That Vishaya, Vishayi subject, object, but actually it includes Tripudi, Jnata, Jnanam and Jneya. When these distinctions are completely obscured, absent, abhava, then it's called anandamaya. That this happens only in Sushupti. Because in Swapna state and Jagrat state, in the waking and dream stage, you have object subjects equation or a link or maybe division. Now you can see objects in Swapna also, though you see objects only at the mental level. That's called Sukshma Anubhava without the involvement of Jnanendriya Karmendriyas. So even in Swapna also you have this Vishaya, Vishayi distinctions are there. Jnata, Jnanam, Jneyam distinctions are there. And Jagrat state, of course, obviously. So in these two states there is no Ananta Maya. So Maya Pratyaya has no value there. But in Sushupti state, Ananda Maya, there is abundance of Ananda. So it can be called Ananda Praya, but na Ananda Eva. Na Ananda Eva means na Ananda Sarupa, not Ananda Rupa. But you become essentially of the nature of bliss. Or bliss becomes your nature, or you become of the nature of bliss. The reason is given anatandikatvad, because that abundance of bliss that you experience in Sushupti is not atyantikam, it is not eternal, it is bound to vanish after some time. So frequently in other commentaries this is compared. Suppose you are going through a lot of ayasa, dukkha, strain, effort, because you are holding a huge weight on your head. That's like Jagra Swapna and Jagra Swapna stage, the waking state and dream state, where objects are there. So you feel a lot of ayasa, dukkha, strain, because you see different things. Whenever we see anything other than ourselves, it creates strain. So Didiya vai bhayam bhavati. So every strain is because we see something other than ourselves. But in dream, in Swapna and Jagrat state, we see different objects, plurality of objects we see. So there is ayasa and dukkha. But in Sushupti, we don't see. But then it is not total absence. Why? It is only temporary absence of ayasa. Why? So it's often compared, you are holding a huge weight and somebody comes and takes away the weight of your head and you feel a great ayasa, dukkha, bhava, means absence of ayasa, absence of strain, because you are holding a big weight and it is a big ayas, a big strain for you. Somebody has come and taken it away from you. So you feel a great relief. But it may come back to you again. So it is not atyantika, it's called anatyantika. So the blissful state that you experience in in sushupti, in deep sleep state, in sushupti state, what blissful experience you have is not eternal, because after sushupti you again come back to swapna state or maybe jagrata state. So if sushupti state can be compared to a state when somebody has come and taken away the huge weight from your head, or a huge weight off your shoulders, you feel a great relief, a great ananda. But then suppose he is coming, after some time he put the heavy weight back on your head, so the ayasa returns, the strain returns. Like that, in sushupti state, we feel this ayasa abhava, absence of strain. But that absence of strain is only temporary, because from sushupti you go to jagrata state and swapna state, and again all the plurality, dvaita prapancha, subject, object, vishaya, vishayi distinctions all will return. Just like somebody who has taken away the weight from your head and after some time puts it back on your head, again the bliss is gone. So that's why it is called anatyantikatvad. So yatha loke nirayasa sthitaha sukhi ananda bhuk uchyate. So again there's a repetition of what I said just now. Yatha loke, in this world, this example is given. Nirayasa. So nirayasa actually means somebody whose ayasa is lost or gone. So nir upasarga, it means the particular problem is for some time removed. That's nirayasa state. Not that he is born with this nirayasa state. No. He was born with this huge weight on his head, and somebody has taken away from it, so he is nirayasa. So, and when the weight is taken away from your shoulders, you feel sukhi, ananda bhuk uchyate. So the sukha or blissfulness that you experience in sushupti state is only that of a person whose heavy weight is taken away from his shoulders for some time, only to be kept back there on him, because it is temporary. Then atyanta anayasa rupa hi iyam sthitihi anena atmana anubhuyate iti ananda bhuk. So of course, if there is a prajna state, there is atyanta anayasa rupa. That is again description of prajna state. Again sushupti state. In sushupti, the vyashti dimension, the jiva is prajna, and the samashti, the adidevika dimension, is called avyakrita, antaryami, ishara. All these terms are used in order to imply that samashti or adidevika dimension, the transcendental dimension of prajna experience, sushupti experience, is called Ishvara, Antaryami, Avyakrita, etc. Atyanta anayasa rupa hi iyam sthitihi. So this particular state is called anayasa rupa. Anena atmana anubhuyate. So iti ananda bhuk. So ananda bhuk is explained here. So each of the expressions, the mantra is explained. We should remember one thing. The adidevika aspect, that is the samashti aspect, is not a numerical samashti of vyashti. So to give an example, let us say swapna is jiva state. It's called taijasa. And the samashti aspect, the adidevika aspect, is called hiranyagarbha. In waking state, jagrata state, is called vishwa. The adidevika aspect is called Vaishwanara. So Vaishwanara is not the numerical totality. All the Vyashti Jivas put together do not become Vaishwanara. All the Vyashti Taijasas put together will not become Hiranyagarbha. It is called the essential totality, not numerical totality. In other words, it is not the sum total of everything, but the essence of what you experience in what we experience in waking state by the jiva, that is in its essential, in its fundamental reality, in its cosmic transcendental dimension, it is called Vaishwanara. So also Hiranyagarbha in Swapna state and Avyakrita or Ishvara or Antaryami in Sushupti state. So that's one thing. Iti Ananda book, Esha Asya Parama Ananda. So that's again a quotation from Brihadaranyaka. Esha Asya Parama Ananda. This is the ultimate Ananda of Jiva. I mean this particular Susupti in its transcendental experience. So we should remember, whenever in this context Bhashyakara mentions the Vyashti aspect of anything, it automatically includes a Samashti also. So whenever Vishwa is mentioned, we should include Vaishwanara also. Why? Because Saptanga Bhuk Ekona Vimshati Mukha, that we already discussed earlier. Saptanga Bhuk Ekona Vimshati. That means the 7 Angas and 19 different Dwari Bhutas, entrance doors opening to the external world. So whenever the Vyashti is mentioned, the Samashti is implied, because at the Vyashti level it's only Jiva. So all these characteristics at the cosmic level become applicable only in the Samashti aspects. That's why it is called Esha Asya Parama Ananda. Now, why it is called Paramananda? The reason is, in Sushupti, this Ananda is called Parama because it is ultimate or whatever it is, because there is, you don't need any instruments, anything for enjoying that. You are actually getting a glimpse of coming back to your natural state. So that's an important point, remember. It's not that we get a new experience. We only get back to our real state. So you are not born with this huge weight on your head. You happen to keep this heavy weight on your head, and so you experience this ayasa, dukkha, etc. Avidya, kama, karma, desires, activities with which we create tendencies, karma, vasana, vritti, sankalpa, all these we create, and so we create a huge weight. So it creates ayasa, dukkha, etc. So when we reach a point where ayasa and dukkha are absent, then we are not getting a new status, we are actually coming back to a natural status. That's why mokshasya akaritvat. In its highest dimension, when you really become moksha, that moksha state is not a new achievement, it's actually coming back to our own home. So that's why, it is, moksha is not utpadya, it is not samskarya, it is not vikarya, and it is not apya. All these I already explained earlier. It is not something that creates like a pot maker making a pot. It is not utpadya. It is not something that you get by removing certain characteristics or adding certain characteristics. Certain guna, adhik, some gunas you add or some gunas you take away. No. And it is not something that you reach from like reaching one place, from one place to another place. It's not apya. And it is not samskarya, it is not vikarya, it is not utpadya. So all these are important here. That's why it says, when a person really listens to these Upanishad mantras, especially Mahavakya, according to traditional schools, if he is an Uttamadhikari, then immediately he will get Jnanam. It's called Shabda Parokshvada according to the Vivarana school. And also the Vartika school, both Padmapada and Prakash Armayati, and also Sureshwara and his Vartika. So Vartika school and Vivarana school both admit this Shabda Parokshvada. It only means if a person is an Uttamadhikari, then even when he reads something, when he listens to Mahavakyas, he gets Jnanam. If it is a Madhyamadhikari, then he has to practice Manana, Nididhyasana, etc. So Jnanam is the effect for Uttamadhikari. Dhyana Bhyasa or Prasankhya, that is Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, is the means for Madhyamadhikari to reach experience. And for those who are below that level, they have to practice again sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, and they have to do upasana, they have to do karma yoga, and slowly when they reach chitta shuddhi, then they will reach the status of madhyamadhikari, and then they can practice dhyanam, and then finally they will reach uttamadhikari state. Then it will become jnanam. So this is the normal pattern in Advaita Siddhanta. Now we will come to the next mantra. So sixth mantra is there. Esha sarvesharaha, esha sarvajnaka, esha andaryami, esha yonihi, sarvasya prabhava appeyahu hi bhutanam. So this is sixth mantra, I think. Oh no, I think one part is missed. So before that, okay. Sorry. So before sixth mantra, there is one other paragraph. Swapnadi pradibodham chetaha prati dwari bhutatvad cheto mukha bodhalakshanam va cheto dwaram mukham asya swapnadi agamanam pratididi cheto mukha. Now the Bhashyakara is explaining another part of the mantra. The mantra is, yatra swapno na kanchanam kamayede, na kanchanam swapnam pasyadi, tastu suptam, etc. So, hi ananta bhuk, that is already explained. Cheto mukha, that is being explained. Swapnadi pradibodham chetaha prati dwari bhutatvad. Now, from Susupti state, as I mentioned earlier, you go to Jagrat state and Swapna state. So, the Susupti state is called Cheto Mukha because that is the entrance, the door through which you enter Swapna state and Jagrat state. I already explained this in the example of Mahamatsya Drishtanta from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where a huge fish, Mahamatsya, it is moving in the river, and there the Mahamatsya is Jiva, and the strong currents in the river correspond to our Ajnanam, avidya, and different experiences, samsara experiences, and the two banks of the river, Jagrat state and Swapna state. So, the middle portion of the river roughly corresponds to Sushupti state. So, where does the Mahamatsya belong? It doesn't belong to Jagrat state or Swapna state, because Jagrat state and Swapna state are like the two banks of the river. It goes to one bank and then comes back to the other bank, and it is by itself, it is not affected by the currents. That's because it's true nature. But then because of avidya, kama, karma, he is not completely free. You find it in the Chandogya mantra prana bandhanam ki saumya mana. It is bandhanam is there. It belongs to the Sushupti state, but it is not free from the avidya, kama and karma. That's why the Mahamatsya goes to one bank, to Jagra state, and then to another bank, Supna state. So that Sushupti state is the Cheto Mukha. It is Dwari Bhudatva Cheto Mukha. Swapnadi Pradibodham Chetaka. Swapna Jagra Pradibodham Chetaka means it is the entrance, it is the door through which the Jiva goes to Jagra state and Supna state. So it is called Cheto Mukha. Bodhalakshanam va cheto dwaram mukham asya swapnadi agamanam pratididi cheto mukha. So, bodhalakshanam va cheto dwaram mukham asya. That's the same they repeated here. Swapnadi agamanam prati. So, the movement of jiva to Swapna state and Jagrat state begins when the jiva moves away from Sushupti state and goes towards Jagra state and Swapna state because of avidya, kama, karma, etc. Bhuda bhavishyat jnatritvam sarva vishaya jnatritvam asyeva iti prajnaka. So prajna is explained here. Bhuda bhavishyat jnatritvam sarva vishaya jnatritvam asyeva iti prajnaka. So this prajna is explained because prajna state is the causal form, because tattva pradibodha, agrahanam. And without agrahanam, there cannot be anyatha grahanam. So anyatha grahanam exists only in Jagrat state and Swapna state. And Sushupti state has no anyatha grahanam. So the causal state. So everything begins with Sushupti. The Mahamatsya starts its movement towards one bank, left bank, or maybe the west bank, or maybe the east bank, only from the middle of the river. That's why it is stated it has the freedom, it can move in whichever direction it wants. Of course, there is something in Anandagiri, you find, Sarvajna is mentioned here. Vyasa Parashara Prabhutinam api Annesham api Sarvajnatva Prasiddhege idi Ashangya Visinashti. So, why Prajna is called Sarvajna? So, people may ask this question, there can be criticism. Vyasa Parashara Prabhutinam Annesham api Sarvajnatva Prasiddhege. Great saints like Vyasa, Parashara, and others also may have sarvajnatvam because they are called sarvajnas in the sense they were one is sarvam means brahmajnanam, that's one meaning. Another meaning is in the ordinary sense they knew all shastras. So two meanings are there. So they also can be called sarvajnas. So what is the distinction here? So the Bhashyakara says andaryamitvam visheshanantaram vishadaidi. So because this prajna dimension, two dimension is antaryamitvam. Whenever we mention prajna, we should always remember antaryami, Ishvara or Vyakrita. Prajna is the Vyashti dimension, antaryami, Ishvara, Vyakrita is the Samashti dimension. So whenever we mention Vyashti dimension, we should always imply that it includes the Adidevika or the Samashti dimension also. So whenever we mention Vishwa, Vaishwanara is also indicated. Whenever we mention Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha is also indicated. So whenever we mention Prajna, Andaryami is also indicated. So Prajna is called is Sarvajna because Sushupto hi Bhuda Purvagitya Prajna Vichyade Prakarshena Nyayate iti Prajna in that sense. So though in Sushupti state Bhutapurvagatya, because it is aware, it is present in the earlier states also, in the Vishwa state and also in Taijasa state, it is present. So it knows all the three states. So it is called Prajna. Athava Prajnapti Matramaseva Sadharanam Rupamidi Prajna. Another interpretation for Prajna is Prajnapti Matram Aseva. What is Prajnapti? It is Asadharanam Jnanam. Asadharanam Jnanam means something which is not Sadharanam. Sadharanam means which is sometimes lost. Asadharanam means something which is never lost. It always remains. For Antaryami or Ishvara, this Sarvajñatvam is always there. Why? Because from that Sushupti state, only one enters Jagrat state and Swapna state. So whatever you know, whatever jnanam you have in Jagrat state or Swapna state, you have in Sushupti state. Because it is the source of everything. So that's why Asadharanam Rupam Prajnaka. Itarayoho Visishtamabhi Vijnanam Asti. Of course, for Jagrat Swapna state also, the Jnanam is there, but it is Visishtam. Visishtam means Nanatva Bodha. So we should remember Itarayoho. Itarayoho here means it refers to Jagrat state and Swapna state. That's the meaning Itarayoho. That means of the Avasthatraya, the first two states, Jagrat state and Swapna state, Visishtam Abhivijnanam Asti. The Visishtam Vijnanam here means Nanatva Bodha. Means you distinguish one from the other. The Vishesha Jnanam. You distinguish specific knowledge of every single entity as separate and distinct from each other. That is Nanatva Bodha. So in Jagrat state, we experience the Dvaita Prapancha. So Nama, Rupa, Vaividhyam, that means distinction in terms of Nama and Rupa. The Dvaita Prapancha Anubhuti is felt in Jagrat state. That is also felt in Swapna state at the mental level. So that's called Visishtam Vijnanam, which is characteristic of Jagrat state and Swapna state. Soyam Prajnas Tritiya Padaka. But in this Prajna state, the Visishtam Vijnanam is not there, because everything is enveloped into one single mass of darkness, where there is only Tattva Apratibodha, there is only Agrahana, and there is no Anyatha Grahana, there is only non-perception, non-comprehension, there is no false comprehension, there is only Avarana, there is no Vikshepa. That's why Itarayoho Visishtam Abhivijnanam Astiti. Visishta Vijnanam means Nanatva Bodha. Because Chitta Spandanam is there in Jagrat state and Swapna state. There is no Chitta Spandanam in Sushupti state. That's a Vishaya Akara Spandana Ayasa Dukkha Bhava. So Vishaya Bhava is there, then Sukha Bhava is there, then Ayasa Dukkha Bhava is there. So there is no Vishayi, there is no Ayasa, no Dukkha. Total absence of all this. Because there is no Chitta Spandanam in Sushupti state. So that's why there is no Nanatva Bodham, there is no Visishta Vijnanam. Visishta Vijnanam exists only, Nanatva Bodham exists only in Jagrat state and in Swapna state. Soyam Prajnaha Tritiya Padaha. That state is called Tritiya Pada. So we are coming to the sixth mantra. So Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvajna, Esha Antaryami, Esha Yonihi Sarvasya Prabhava Appayohi Bhutanam. So this this Sushupti state. Remember, Esha here doesn't mean Jiva, it means Antaryami. So here the Prajna state is explained. Prajna includes, by indication, Prajna includes Antaryami also. Antaryami, Avyakruta, Ishara, Sarvajna, these are all different names for the same Adhidaiviga or cosmic or samashti dimension of Sushupti Jiva. So, Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvajnaha, Esha Antaryami, Esha Yonihi, Sarvasya Prabhavapyohi Bhudanam. Now Bhashya comes. Esha Hi Surupavasthaha. As Antaryami, in everything, present in everything, as the inherent or immanent reality, that's Antaryami. Surupavastha Sarveshwaraha. Sadhidevigasya Bhedajadasya Sarvasya Ishwaraha Ishita. So here Bhedajadasya Sadhidevigasya Bhedajadasya. This Antaryami, the samashti dimension of Ishvara, is Chaitanya Pradhana. It's called Ishvara because without any means, any sadhanas, it becomes the Ishvara, it becomes the controller. So you find Bhashya will come, is it, Yamayida, Niyanta, all these are terms used in the Bhashya. So this particular state, that is the Ishvara, which is the Antaryami of all the three states, it is Bhedajadasya Ishvaraha, it is the Niyanta, it is the controller, it is the regulator, it is the Lord of all Bhedajadas, all experiences that you go through in Jagra state and Supna state. Naidasman Jatyendra Bhudaha Anyeshamiva. Now, here Jatyendra Bhuda means this Antaryami, it exists only one incomparable reality, and there is nothing which can be compared to that. That is the only Antaryami. It is the one reality. No Jatyendra. There is nothing else. Nothing else which can be compared to that. Nothing that belongs to the same jati, belongs to the same species, beyond the same attributes. It is the only one incomparable, unique reality present in everything. So that's why it is called Naidasmat. Naidasmat Jatyendra Bhudaha Anyesham Iva. Anyesham Iva means other entities which require a lot of sadhanas for controlling. This is explained in the light of a Bhashya, another Upanishad statement, Pranabandhanam hi somya manaha. So Chandogya Upanishad will explain that. This is the classical Udaharana, Drishtanta given here. So those of you can read later. It is called, in the Pranabandhanam hi saumya manaha. It is somewhere I have mentioned here in the Chandogya statement. Pranabandhanam hi saumya. It comes in the 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, 8th Brahmana. So you have, the 6th chapter of Chandogya has got 16 sections, Brahmanas, of which 9 sections from 8th to 16th deal with Tattvamasi. So 8th section, 8th Brahmana contains the first Upadesha of Tattvamasi, and it will be followed 8 times with 8 Drishtantas, 8 examples, 8 illustrations, and 8 repetitions. So total, this is Navama Krutva, total 9 statements are there, of which the first one comes in the 8th Brahmana, and then 8 repetitions. So in this, there is one statement which Uddalaka makes clear, prana bandhanam hi soumya manaha. So here prana actually means jiva. Sorry, okay, there is a little distinction here. Prana bandhanam hi soumya mana. Mana is prana bandhanam. Remember, prana here means Brahman and mana means jiva. Prana bandhanam hi soumya mana. So prana means Brahman and mana means jiva. This mana is called jiva because jiva experiences Jagrat Swapna states only with the help of mind. It is mind that helps jiva to experience different objects in waking state with the help of indriyas, and without the help of indriya, the same mind experiences things in dream state. It is called prana bandhanam. It is tied to the Sushupti state, that is the Brahman state, because the mind is like a bird that is tied to Brahman, that is tied to a pole. So it travels everywhere, but again it is connected to the pole. Its real place is the place where it is tied with the thread. Wherever it goes, it has to come back to its original place. So the different directions towards which the jiva moves in Jagrat state and Swapna state are compared to the movements of the bird, which flies in different directions, but it cannot go beyond the limit. After getting tired, it comes back to the place where it is tied, that is Sushupti state. So Sushupti state is compared because it is closest to Brahman. So everything that we do, we have to come back to our own state. Only we have to get rid of avidya, kama and karma. For that we have to practice sadhana, chatushtaya sambatti and sravana, manana, nididhyasana. Then we will stop flying in all directions. We will come back to our own state. So that's why, please remember, prana bandhanam hi soumya mana. Prana here refers to Brahman, or maybe in the case of, in the Avasthatraya context, belong to Antaryami in Sushupti state, and mana here indicates the flight of the birds in different directions because of avidya and karma, which experiences in the world different it's called nanatva bodha or dvaita prapancha. So that is a important quotation here. Prana bandhanam hi soumya mana iti sutehi ayameva hi sarvasya sarva bhedavasto jnata iti esha sarvajnaka. So ayameva hi sarvasya. Here also you can listen to this. Nanu avadharanam novapadyate iti. So this Sushupti stage is sarvasya sarva bhedavastha jnata. It is the knower. It is present in all the three states. This jiva which experiences Sushupti state, it is sarva bheda avastha. It is present in Jagra Swapna states. It travels everywhere and it is present. Ataeva esha antaryami. Therefore it is present in everything. Antaha anupravisya sarvesham bhudanam yamaida niyandapi esha. So anyasya kasyachit antaranupraveshe niyamane cha samarthya bhava avadharanam. The point is, nothing else can have this anupravesha. So Anandagiri writes, Anyasya kasyachit antaha praveshe niyamena cha samarthya bhavat avadharanam. So this Sarvajna or Antaryami is called Antaryami because Antaha Anupravishya Sarvesham Bhudanam Antaha Anupravishya. It endures or it is present, it is immanent, it everything. Sarvesham Bhudanam Anupravishya and Yamayida, then it controls, it regulates, it decides everything. Esha eva. Atha eva yadhoktam sabhedam jagat prasuyede iti esha yonihi. It is called esha yoni because the entire jagat prapancha, Dvaita prapancha takes birth from this Antaryami. Why? Sabhedam jagat, this nanatva jagat, this pluralistic world, this Dvaita prapancha that we experience, the Vishayi, Bheda, all these that we experience in waking state and in dream state, all these originate in Antaryami. So as I mentioned earlier, Sushupti state is the causal state. From that causal state only everything comes. In Jagra state and Swapna state, we experience Nanatva Bodha, Dvaita Prapancha because of Anyatha Grahana. Anyatha Grahana takes place because there is Agrahana. Viksheba happens because there is Avarana. We experience different objects in the world, the Dvaita experience we go through just because we are not able to see the one reality behind everything. So the absence of the ability, the absence of knowledge of the one reality is called Agrahana, and because of that we see something else, it is called Anyatha Grahana, and these two happen only in Jagra state and Swapna state, and they happen because there is Agrahana, which is the characteristic of Sushupti state. So Sushupti state is called the causal form. So the Antaryami, which is a Sadhidevika, Samashti aspect of Sushupti, is called the Yonihi. So it mentioned here, Ataeva yadhoktam sabhedam jagat prasuyate iti esha yonihi. So Bhashyagara is explaining the word esha Antaryami, esha yonihi. I mean the origin, the genesis, the point of origination of the entire Dvaita Prapancha experiences is this Ishvara or Antaryami, and that is the causal form of the Avastatraya. Yatha evam prabhavascha appeyascha prabhavapeyo hi bhudanam esha eva. And everything merges back into Sushupti, everything emerges from Sushupti. So Sushupti means Antaryami. So Antaryami is the point of origination of everything, and Antaryami the point of dissolution of everything. So it's called Prabhavascha Appeyascha. Prabhava means, you can see in the Taittiriya Upanishad, if an Antapravishata Deva Anupravishata Anupravisha Satyatecha Bhavat, you can find in this other Taittiriya Upanishad also. So, Anupravesha and also becoming one with everything, that means what? Tadanupravishya Satya Techa Bhavat. So this reality enters into everything, and then it becomes everything that is created. So it is present in everything. So that's why it's called. So you can that mantra that you always chant. So kame that it comes here. So esha yonihi sarvasya yata eva prabhavascha appeyascha prabhavapebhi bhudanam esha eva. Now we are beginning the Gaudapada Kariga. So we should remember Gaudapada himself writes here, Atra ede sloka bhavanti. Sixth mantra is over. So we will have some karigas here. Kariga means Samkshipta Sutra Bhavartha Suchaka Sloka. Kariga means it's a composition in verse explaining an original work. So it's mostly in the form of verses. So this is followed by some slokas which explain what is already being stated, and then the seventh mantra will begin, going back to the Upanishads. So we come to Bhashya here. Atra edasmin yithokte arthe ete slokaha bhavanti. So that is the Bhashya. Atra edasmin yithokte arthe. Now what we have described so far, what we have explained so far, what we described, that description of Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna, Vaishwanara, Hiranyagarbha, Antaryami, all that we explained. In this context, there are certain verses, it is sloka bhavanti, Bahishprajna iti. So that is Bahishprajno vibhur vishyo hi andaprajnastu taijasaha ghanaprajnastatha prajna eka eva tridha smrita. This is the first kariga. So you can, this is the beginning, this is the most important part. Now we are beginning. So the Bhashya begins Bahishprajna iti. So the word Bahishprajna is explained here. Paryayena tristhanatvat sohamiti smritya pratisankhanacha sthanatraya vidiriktam egatvam shuddhatvam asangatvam cha siddham iti abhiprayah. So Bahishprajna is already explained here. Means jiva which this abhimana, which has got abhimana in Jagrat state, Jagrat abhimani is Bahishprajna. Now, and how it becomes Paryayena. Paryayena means changing one after another. It is present. This Esha Antaryami, this reality, this Atman is present Paryayena, Tristhanatva. It is present one after another in all the three states, Avastatraya, that is Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti. How it is present? How do we know that this Atman is present in the Jagra state, Swapna state and Sushupti state? Or rather it is the same Atman is actually Vishwa of the Jagra state, Taijasa of the Swapna state, or Prajna of the Sushupti state, or maybe Vaishwanara of Jagra state, or Hiranyagarbha of Swapna state, or Antaryami or Ishvara of the Sushupti state. How do we know? So Bhashya says, Soham idhi smritya pradisankhanacha. Soham. So here there are two types of interpretation. One is actually, we recognize things either as smriti or pratyabhijna. The particular term is called pratyabhijna. So in Vedanta, Soham, I am that reality actually. It is not something that just comes to memory. Rather, it is a recognition of something that we have already seen. In other words, conscious reference to something that we have seen or something that we have been in the past. An apprehension of object as something that we have already experienced in the past. That kind of recollection is called by the Sanskrit word pratyabhijna in Nyaya, and it is also is recognized in Vedanta. So in Vedanta, when we realize Aham Brahmasmi, as I mentioned earlier, it is not a new knowledge. What is happening is the avarana is removed So automatically Vikshepa is removed. So Bhashyakara says elsewhere, Shastram tu Ajnana Nivartakam na Jnana Pravartakam. Shastram or Mahavakya Sravanas or spiritual practices do not give you any knowledge. It only removes ignorance. It natu Jnana Pravartakam, it doesn't produce knowledge. What is it? Ajnana Nivartakam. It only removes ignorance. When ignorance is removed, what is left out is knowledge. When ajnana is removed, what is left out is jnanam. When the sarpatva bodham is removed, what is left out is rajju. Similarly, in Vedanta and also Nyaya, this spiritual experience is compared to pratyabhijna in contrast to smriti. Because smriti is atma manasoko samyoga vishesha samskara cha smriti. Smriti is actually a recollection of previous knowledge of objects. It is only recollection. We don't recognize it, oh, I have seen this, or I have been there, I have been there. We don't recognize as something in relation to ourselves. We just recognize just on the basis of previous samskaras, because previously we have known. So we see that. We don't connect ourselves to that. So that's why it is called, samskarajanyam jnanam. That is only smriti. Smriti is just related to samskara. Samskara that is left out in the chittam because of some previous understanding or contact or connection. Pratyabhijna is different. Pratyabhijna atida kala visishto vartamana kala avachinnaschartho edasya anubhasate. That is Nyaya Manjari definition. It is a conscious reference to the past, and along with that recognizing it in connection with our own experience. That is pratyabhijna. So Bhashyakara says here, Paryayena tristhanatva sohamedi smritya pratisanghanacha. How do we recognize Atman as the one reality that is present in the avasthatraya, that is Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti state? Bhashyakara says sthanatraya vidriktatvam ekatvam shuddhatvam asangatvam siddhamiti cha siddham. So we realize ourselves, that reality which is sthanatraya vidriktam, which is distinct and different from sthanatraya, Jagra state, Swapna state and Sushupti state. It is distinct, but is present there. Because this Atman is present in the Jagra state, Swapna state and Sushupti state, and because it is distinct and different from the three states, we recognize it as our true self, and it is recognized as ekatvam, it is the one, because aham, I am that reality. That is, that reality that I was earlier and that I somehow forgot, now I understand what it is. That's what really happens when you get Brahmajnanam according to Advaita Shastram. You just, as if you get up from sleep. So, Anadi Maya Supto Yadha Jiva Prabhuddhite Ajamanidram Aswaptam Advaitam Vidyate Tatha in the Gaudavada Karika, Gaudavada will tell you later. Anadi Maya Supto Yatha Jiva Prabhuddhite. So when a person gets spiritual realization, he is actually getting up from a sleep. Actually, the awakened state is his natural state. Sleep was alien to him. It is foreign to him. Similarly, Jagra Swapna Sushupti, this Tristhanam. That is not his natural state. His natural state is something that is different. Sthana, Traya, Vetiriktam. Ekatvam, and it is one. It is one, that's why we are able to remember. Even Pratyabhijna is possible because we were present in all the three states. A person is able to remember that he had a dream because the dreamer is also present. He is present when he is in waking state. And he is able to remember that he had a good sleep and he had a good rest after Sushupti, though he is not able to experience that in Sushupti, during Sushupti state, but he is able to recognize that when he comes out of Sushupti, when he is in waking state, because the same Eka, the same subject was present in Sushupti and is also present in Jagra state. So there is a connecting bridge. It is the same thing. So that's why Ekam. So Sthanatraya Vidiktam and Ekam. Then it is Suddham. It is not affected. It is not in any way impacted or affected by the characteristics of Jagra state. Because if it is affected by Jagra state, then it won't be able to experience Swapna state. It is not affected by Swapna state. That's why it is able to come to Jagra state again or Sushupti state. So the point is, it is Sthanatraya Vidiriktam and it is Ekam and it is Suddhatum and Asangatum. It is not affected by anything. Cha Siddham iti Abhiprayaka. So Padyayena Tristhanatvad. One after another, it moves from one state to another state. But then it experiences the Soham, Aham. I am that one reality which is present all the three states. It is Smritya. Smriti is used here. So, that's because Pratyabhijna is also some kind of a Smriti. But the technical term Smriti has a different connotation in Nyaya. And that definition is different from the definition of Pratyabhijna. So, even the Smriti, when used in the context of Advaita Anubhuti, should be understood as not Smriti, but Pratyabhijna. Because Pratyabhijna is Pratyabhijna Atita Kala Visishtaha. Vartamana Avachinnaschartho Edasya Avasadi. So, first of all, we should have a vague understanding that we are actually Brahman. And now when you practice sadhana chatushtaya sambatti or Mahavakya Shravana sadhana, when you realize Brahma Jnanam, then actually I am reconnecting with my own true identity. It is not a new connection, but reconnection. I already was earlier, but now suddenly the veil, the cover is removed. So that kind of recognition is called Pratyabhijna. And on the other hand, Smriti, in its ordinary sense, it only means just a samskara janyam jnanam. Because you had a samskara left in your chittam because of a previous experience, so you just you are able to remember that. So Padyayena Tristhanatva Sohamidhi Smritya Pratisanghana. Pratisanghana actually means Visayigana, means objectification. You are able to focus on the true identity that is yours. That is Pratisanghana. What is that? It is mentioned Sthanatraya Vidiriktatvam, Ekatvam, Suddhatvam, Asangatvam, etc. And again here is Mahamatsyadi Drishtanta Sudekhi. It is a very important quotation, Mahamatsya Smriti. Those who are interested, you can see that. This Brihadranyaka Upanishad is a well-known. It comes in the Jyoti Brahmanam. Those of you who are interested, you can read that later. The Jyoti Brahmanam, it begins with a conversation with Janaka and Yajnavalkya. When Yajnavalkya comes to Janaka's court, he asks the question, Kim Jyoti Rayam Purushayidi? That is the beginning of Jyoti Brahmanam. What light helps a person to move about, to walk about? Endowed with what light is a person able to live in the world? That's a question that Janaka puts to Yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya replies Aditya Jyoti. So Astamidi Aditya Yajnavalkya Kim Jyoti Rayam Purushayidi. So what happens? What's the light that you are endured with when sun is set in the west? So Yajnavalkya replies, Chandra Jyoti, Agni Jyoti, Vag Jyoti. So after Aditya Jyoti, Chandra Jyoti, Agni Jyoti and Vag Jyoti, the fifth one is Atma Jyoti. So Jyotisham Jyoti. So this is a long discussion of this of the ultimate revealer, the ultimate Jyotisham Jyoti means the ultimate revealer, the revealer of all revealers. That's the meaning here. So this is a discussion. Those of you are interested, you can read. There is this particular important illustration comes Mahamatsya Drishtanta Suti. Tadyatha Mahamatsya Ube Kuli Anusanjaradi Purvam Cha Param Cha Evamevayam Purusha Etau Ubhau Antau Anusanjaradi Suknantam Cha Buddhantam Cha. So you can see I already explained this. The Mahamatsya Drishtanta is given here. The big fish Mahamatsya, it moves in a river, and the currents in the river, the flow, all can be compared to, correspond to avidya, kama, karma, all the Dvaita experiences. And in the midst of all that, it suddenly experiences the Sushupti state. Then it feels like it's free to move in one bank, in one direction, in the another direction, Swapna state and Jagrat state. But actually its real position, status is the middle of the river. So in the midst of all these avidya, kama and karma, once it realizes its total freedom from avidya, kama and karma, that is in Sushupti state, but it suddenly comes back to waking state and moves in one bank to another bank. It doesn't belong to any of the three states, any of the three positions. Mahamatsya doesn't really belong to anywhere in the ocean, in the river. That's why it's able to move either to the west bank of the river or the east bank of the river, or stay in the middle. Why? Because it doesn't belong to any of the places. Like that, if Jiva belong to Jagrat state, it won't be able to go to Swapna state, Sushupti state. If it belongs to one particular state, then it won't be able to be present in all the three states. It is Thanatraya Vidiriktam. It is distinct from all the three states, but it is present in all the three states. That's why it is called Ekatvam. And then it is Suddham, Asangam, etc. It is Suddhatvam, Asangatvam, etc. It is not affected. It is not impacted. It is free to move in whatever direction it wants. So that's why Bhashyakara gives Mahamatsyadi Drishtanta Sutehi mentioned here. Okay, we will conclude and then we'll do the next Karika. If those of you have any doubt, you can raise, you can make some arrangement for interaction also if you want next time. Okay. Sometimes what I'm saying may not be very clear or obvious. So in that case, we'll make arrangements maybe from next class onwards. We'll try to make arrangements for you to ask questions on this subject. Most welcome. Okay. Shanti, 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 Shanti.